this is such a powerful lesson. Again, so many of these lessons, number 68 especially, this lesson just gives you such a simple awareness of what it costs us to live in an ego world, what it costs us to stay in a world of fear and suffering. As it says, you were not created by attack and hate. You were not created in sin. You were created in love. Now, that's one place the Bible and all of us agree with that, right? I mean, he breathed his breath and gave life to, what do they say? Man, creation. So we all know that. We were created by love, in love, like itself, okay? And that's probably the place at which after that we depart entirely from traditional Christianity, but that's okay. But you who were created in love, like itself, and what it says here is can hold no grievance and know yourself. Do you understand that? Because if you're holding a grievance, you're believing that there is something opposite to love. That's what the Course basically says. What does it say in the introduction? It said, this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Why is that? Because how you were created. Free will cannot change the curriculum. Love, there is only love. If there were to be an opposite to love, it would be fear. But what does it say? What is all encompassing can really have no opposite. So therefore, this course can be summed up in this way. Nothing real, which is love, and what you are, can be threatened. Nothing unreal can exist. So an opposite to what is all encompassing can really not exist. The problem is we've given a lot of power to a lot of stuff that isn't real. So it doesn't matter whether it's real or not if you believe it is. Think of a child who is scared at night, and the one thing that the dad always has to do before the child goes to bed is what? Look under the bed to make sure that the big monsters aren't under there. It doesn't matter how much you may tell the child, look yourself, see there's nothing there. As soon as it gets dark and the lights are going to go out, there's going to be a monster that comes out. There's no hole for the monster, there's no way the monster can come out. But for some reason in our minds, we believe that it could. And so we're terrified by that. The child is terrified. We have our own things that terrify us. Now, a lot of you might say, well, I think we've seen justifications for terror. But that's only because we've made more sophisticated illusions, as the Course would say. And so what this is saying is, the problem is we still hold on to things that keep creating the problem for us. If you were created by love, we cannot know ourselves if we do not dwell in love. So it's telling us, love like itself can hold no grievances and know who you are. So if we are holding grievances, then we're not going to know the reality of ourselves. And the fact is, most of us don't know who we are. And why is that? Because we do hold grievances. As this lesson kind of beautifully says, we can easily see the ones that are hard. The people we don't like, the issues that are going on in our lives that are painful, the struggles we've had, the issues from the past that we project into the future that we're still struggling with. We know all those. Then it says, think even of the people you like and the people you love. They still piss you off, don't they? They still irritate you from time to time. And what that says, it's an interesting thing. What does it say? It's left you alone in all the universe. That's a pretty powerful statement. Why is that? Because you don't know who you are. And that it's this first line. It's this first line. You who were created by love like itself can hold no grievances and know yourself. So if we are holding grievances, even against those we like and even love, we don't know ourselves. That's what it's saying. So it goes on to say, it's pretty powerful, and then it goes on to tell you even more. Not only don't you know yourself, here's your own goodie bag of all the stuff that holding a grievance does to you. To hold a grievance is to forget who you are. Okay, we got that one, right? That's what it says, love like itself. You don't know who you are. To hold a grievance is to see yourself as a body. What does that mean? The Course often says not just a physical body, but limited. You're limited to just this experience. So we're already limited. This is a box. We can't go much past it. To hold a grievance is to let the ego rule your mind and to condemn your body to death. And so you might say, well, what does that mean? Physical death, the body will die at some point, but what it means is we've equated ourselves so much with the body that we think that that means the end of us. We're so confused as to who we are because the ego rules our mind that the end of our body is the end of us. Well, the big joke is at the moment when the body does die, we do realize that we are more than that. But we don't know that while we're here. So while we're here, we're terrified to death. Kind of ironic, terrified to death of death, you know. Perhaps it says you do not yet fully realize just what holding grievances does to your mind. What does it do? It seems to split you off from your source, okay? Separate us from this source that created us in love and make you unlike your source. Make you think you're different than he, that you're different. You can say him, you can say it, you can say him, her, whatever you want to say, your source. It makes you believe that he is like what you think you have become. For no one can conceive of his creator as unlike himself. That's a huge statement. It's one the Course says all the time. And I go back to, and we've probably said this so many times in here, during the Enlightenment period, we have a lot of great philosophers that came out of the 1700s, especially in France. And Voltaire was one that said, God created man in his image, and then man returned the compliment. So God made us in love, and then we, in our separated minds, who believe that we're a body, who believe that the ego can rule our mind, who believe that we have forgotten who we are, all of these things where we feel separated from each other, now have returned the compliment back to God. And instead of accepting how he created us, we've made him just like us because we cannot conceive of a creator unlike ourselves. So we look at God and we think, I'm judgmental, I'm angry, I'm a grievance holder. That must be exactly what he's like. No, he's better than us, meaning he knows the truth about us. He knows the reality of us. He knows we are so much more than what we have made ourselves into. And that's the rub for us. Because we keep looking from our limited perspective and think that that's what our creator is like. But our creator loves us, only gave that. We're the ones that have distorted it down. It's like a game of telephone. You ever played telephone where you whisper in an ear and you whisper and you whisper and you whisper, and by the time you get back, you don't even have to play the game telephone. Have you ever texted somebody and Siri's changed everything? You ever done that? The darn autocorrect, and instead of saying something, it says something, blah, blah, something weird. And you go, whoa, what happened there? And you send it. And then you spend the next couple of seconds trying to clean up your text that wasn't what you meant. To me, Siri is one of the best examples of poor communication. And we think we're so good at communicating and we're poorly communicating. So what this is saying is, that's what's happened to us. There's a real mix-up in communication here. God created us in love, and we've returned the compliment and created him in the same image of anger and judgment that we've made into ourselves.